You've called yourself lazy 1,000 times, and you were wrong every single time. Here's what most people believe about procrastination. You have a task, you don't want to do it. So you just don't. You pick up your phone instead. You watch one more video. You tell yourself you'll start after dinner, and then you hate yourself for it. The story we tell is simple. You're lazy. You have no discipline. You need better willpower. Self-help books agree. Productivity gurus agree. Maybe people in your life have agreed too. Except that entire story is wrong. Procrastination has nothing to do with laziness. Not even a little. What it actually is, I know what decades of research and brain imaging have confirmed, is something far more interesting and far more human. Procrastination is your brain trying to protect you from a feeling it doesn't want to have. And once you understand that, the way you think about yourself, maybe forever, changes. In 2013, researchers Fuchsia Sirowa and Timothy Feichel published what became one of the most referenced papers in procrastination science. Their argument was direct. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotion regulation problem. What they found, and what dozens of studies since have confirmed, is this. When a task triggers negative emotions, anxiety, boredom, frustration, self-doubt, fear of being judged, honestly, your brain does something completely predictable. It tries to escape the feeling, not the task, the feeling. And whatever you use to escape, your phone, a snack, another YouTube video, gives your brain an immediate, temporary, effective dose of relief. That's not laziness. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do. Now, here's something that will make more sense in a few minutes. Research shows that when you criticize yourself after procrastinating, when you call yourself lazy, worthless, undisciplined, you are not helping yourself do better. You are almost certainly guaranteeing that you procrastinate again. Hold on to that. We'll come back to why in a moment. Here's what's happening inside your brain. You have two competing systems. The first is your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for long-term planning, rational decision-making, and the understanding that you really should probably send that email. The second is your limbic system, older, faster, louder, driven by immediate emotion. It doesn't care about your career goals. It cares about how you feel right now. At the center of the limbic system sits the amygdala. Think of it as an alarm. Its job is to detect threat and respond immediately. The problem? Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a predator in the grass and a blank document on your screen. Both trigger the same response. Get away from this, now. And when the alarm goes off, the limbic system can and does override the prefrontal cortex. Logic loses. Escape wins. And here's the part that reframes this entirely. In a 2026 systematic review of 23 neuroimaging studies covering more than 6,000 participants, researchers found something that should change how you talk to yourself about this forever. Chronic procrastinators have measurably less gray matter in the prefrontal cortex. The decision-making, impulse control, rational future thinking part of the brain. This is not a character flaw. This is biology. Now let's go one level deeper. Because for a lot of people, the emotion driving procrastination isn't boredom. It's fear. Specifically, fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear that the thing you produce will prove something terrible about you. This is why procrastination is so common in people who are high-achieving, driven, and deeply invested in the outcome of their work. Researchers call this the approach avoidance trap. You want to succeed, you're drawn toward the task, but you're also terrified of failing, and so you freeze, or you find something else to do. The blank page becomes a kind of protection. Because a blank page cannot be criticized. A draft can, a finished thing can, you can, but something you haven't started yet, that's still perfect. So the brain running its emotional calculation picks don't start. Not because it's lazy, because it's trying badly, unhelpfully, to keep you safe. Stay with me here, because the next part, this is where it gets personal. Here's how the trap actually works in your life. You have a task. It produces some kind of negative emotion, anxiety, resentment, boredom, fear. So you avoid it. Avoiding it feels good for about 45 seconds. Then the guilt arrives, and you think, I'm so bad at this. Why can't I just do it? I'm so lazy. What does self criticism feel like? Bad, like a negative emotion. And what does your brain do with negative emotions? It avoids them. So now you're not just avoiding the task, you're avoiding the shame of having avoided the task. The thing you're running from keeps getting bigger. The task becomes scarier. The emotions compound. The avoidance deepens. This is the cycle, in my thing, and it is documented with precision in the research. Avoidance creates guilt. Guilt creates negative emotion. Negative emotion triggers more avoidance. And willpower, your attempts to just try harder, fails repeatedly because it doesn't touch the mechanism at all. It's like trying to drain a flooding room while leaving the tap running. So, remember the question we planted earlier. Why does criticizing yourself make the procrastination worse? Now you know. Self criticism is just more negative emotion, and negative emotion is the fuel this machine runs on. Researcher Kristen Neff, whose work at the University of Texas has explored self compassion for decades, found that people who can extend kindness to themselves when they fail, rather than punishing themselves, procrastinate less in the future, consistently. Fuxia Sirois found the same thing. The counterintuitive truth is this: the way out of the cycle is not harder self discipline. It is not better time management. It is the ability to sit with a negative emotion without immediately running from it. Name what you're feeling before you avoid it: anxiety, boredom, fear. Make the task smaller until it stops triggering the alarm. Not the whole report, just the first sentence. And when you fail, when you still procrastinate because you will, don't reach for punishment. Reach for the same basic human decency you'd extend to someone you care about. That's not making excuses. That's changing the mechanism. Over 95% of procrastinators say they wish they could stop, not because they're failing at laziness, because they're trapped in a cycle they were never taught to see. You're not lazy. You're trying to escape a feeling, and now you know where to start. If this changed how you see yourself, even a little, subscribe. We go this deep every week. And here's the question to take with you. If the real problem is emotion and not time, what else have you been solving with the wrong tool?